podcast, episode 17. I know it's been a little bit since I've been here, as per usual, but I'm back and lots to share with you today. So if you're new, this is a podcast. My name's Debbie, and this is a podcast about knitting and hand-dyed yarn and homeschooling a little bit, and often talk about musical theater a lot because it's our big passion, and really just me being and living as true to myself as I can. So welcome. It's been a few months. I know I said I would try to be back here at the beginning of July, and I thought about it a lot. Didn't happen. It's the same intro every single episode if you're new, because this is what happens is I have really good intentions, friends, but life is busy. And anyway, it was a fabulous summer. Where to begin? I'm going to start with a bit of a disclaimer. I may be shifting a lot because I have a pinched nerve. It doesn't feel very nice. And so I keep shifting to try and be most comfortable. And usually when I find a spot, I'll stay there and won't move at all. But it's just finding that spot where it doesn't hurt, which is another reason I haven't been here. Just stuff, right? Anyway, yes, we've been so busy. So last I saw you, it was, I think, the first week of June. And I had full intentions of coming to, it was right after the Yarn and Fibre Festival. And I had full intentions of being back at the beginning of July after my trunk show in Toronto, but that didn't happen. So Trunks in Toronto was at Yarns Untangled in Kensington Market, and it was part of their pedestrian Sundays. And so it was amazing. So basically, Kensington closes down all the streets and all the businesses spill it onto the sidewalks and whatnot. And it's busy and it's amazing. It was such an amazing day. My friend Kate came with me, who is Treetown Arts, if you know her. And we had a really fun time. The staff of Yarns Untangled were amazing and incredible, and it was just the best. So that was an amazing day. And then from there, what else did I have? I had Home County after that in July, so that's a 3-day local festival. It's music and lots of vendors, and oh my gosh, I love Home County. This year headlining, it was an insane weekend though, so I'll just start with that. This year headlining was Stephen Page, formerly of Bare Naked Ladies, and my booth is literally just like a stone's throw from the east stage. So it's in Victoria Park, downtown London, very big, and there's 4 stages, main stage, and then 3 side stages where they have like workshops and stuff in the day with different artists getting together and just kind of jamming. So it was Stephen Page, The Odds, and Pursuit of Happiness, like someone from each of those bands. And they just played their own songs, and it was just so good. And so I ran over and was listening to them, and Stephen Page was like, I don't want to play too much because I don't want to take away from tonight's headlining show, because he was headlining the Saturday night lineup. But oh my gosh. So Friday we're setting up, and there were tornado warnings, and they told us to evacuate the park. And we just thought we were going to lose everything. The sky was black up top and white down below, and you could see these tendrils coming down attempting to form funnels. We watched from City Hall across the street. It was like, oh my god, this is insane. We are going to die. Or Centennial Hall, not City Hall. And it was quite crazy. Anyway, it cleared up. It rained, it cleared up. We came back. We had water coming in everywhere. But we managed. We laughed it off because what are you going to do? And then Saturday was beautiful all the way up to about 8 o'clock. And then all of a sudden there was a cool front came in, and the wind came out of nowhere, blew the roof off my tent. And I thought, oh my god. Like, my tent was literally doing this. So I thought, I'm going to lose all of my yarn. And it's going to be gone across the park. And what can I do? So then friends of mine who had come to see me, they came back and said, we were just about leaving and we saw people packing up. Like, do you need help? I'm like, throw all the yarn in bins. So we all did that. We threw yarn in bins. We got the roof back on the tent twice. We lowered the tent. We packed up. And my husband came and got me, and our power was out in the neighborhood where we live. That was about 8 o'clock or 7:30 until about 2 in the morning. So we went for a walk, and it's just kind of eerie because you really get so used to lights in the city, and then you can't see 5 feet in front of your face. So, it was a little bit it's like being in the country, right? Just you can't see anything. Anyway, so that was that, and then Sunday was a gorgeous day. But hot. It was a really hot weekend. But it was so much fun. I love Home County. So there was that, and then we had Fibre, Spirit, and Berry, which was amazing. Lots of great people. I'm going to tell you more about these things as I go along, but that was fun. And then we just finished up KW, Kitchener-Waterloo Knitters Fair, on the 14th of September, so like 2 weeks ago. And it was a fantastic day. Just so many people, so busy. It's just so nice to be at one of these shows and connect with all like-minded people, as in customers. So if you were there and you came and said hi and bought yarn, or didn't buy yarn, but like showed me something you were wearing from stuff you've made with my yarn, I just appreciated it all so much. But also just to connect with makers, right? Sometimes we only get to see each other at shows. So we look forward to that. And there's a few makers that couldn't make it this year due to personal issues, and so that was kind of sad not to be able to see them. But you know, we know they're out there, and we're keeping in touch. But it's nice to be able to reconnect in person, and so that was great. And then and so that's that. That's as far as like my like yarny adventures as far as like shows go. But it's been busy with other things too. Isaac turned 13 this summer. So we had an open house for him. This kid's loved by a lot of people. So it's not just, we didn't think that like just a party with a few friends was really worthy of completely, what am I trying to say? It wasn't, it's worthy of him. That's not what I'm trying to say. He needed more. Like that wasn't going to really encompass all that he needed for his birthday, turning 13. Because he's loved by friends, but he's loved by peers, but he's loved by adults and alike, right? So, and not just kids his age, but like teenagers and younger kids, and we didn't want to exclude people. So I decided to have an open house. So we posted it on social media like a month before and told everybody, like, if you're reading this, you're invited. Really, just come. It'll be so much fun. And so we had like some hot dogs and hamburgers and veggies and food and stuff like that. And then people could just come anywhere between 1 and 4, I think it was. Yeah, just pop by and say hi. You can stay all day. You cannot, like whatever you want to do. You want to just come by and get a hug. And some people just came by, gave them a card and had a hug. And then we're off to do other things. And other people stayed for quite a while. I said, bring your chair, like it'll be fun. So I didn't tell him who was coming. There was a couple people he knew were coming, but I didn't tell him everyone who was coming. So that morning he had a bit of a panic attack because he was like, no one's going to come. No one's going to come. Why would they come? No one's going to come see me. And I was like, people are coming. Just relax. I said, why would they not come? Well, who's going to want to come see me? No one's going to come. And of course, there's a knock on the door. I'm like, someone's here. He's like freaking out. He went to the door, into neighbors down the street, who their son is also in Original Kids, in Isaac's theater company. He's in grade 11 now, so he's 3 years older than Isaac, but they were in a show together when Isaac first started, Isaac's first show, and they've remained lovely friends, and the parents love Isaac. And Jacob still invites Isaac down to hang out sometimes with him and stuff. So they always joke around, their little group of friends are like, oh my god, we're all like, Isaac is friends with us, like we're so lucky. So I say to him, I said, you have a lot of friends, like don't stress out. And then people from his cast of Tommy came. I didn't tell him that. I didn't tell him a couple of his friends from Original Kids were coming. So people just kept showing up. And he's like, oh my god. And it was just, I think it made him feel very special. And it was a lovely way to usher in his teen years, knowing that he felt so loved. So there was that. What else happened in the summer? He was in his show at, I guess we had that party right after he finished his show. So he was in a show at Original Kids this summer called The Grunch, which was just one of the best shows ever. It was basically an ode to musical theater and putting on a show and all of that entails, but also it was I would say rip-off, doesn't sound very nice. It was inspired by The Grinch That Stole Christmas, but instead it was called The Grunch, and there's a kid named Rudy Grunch, and he just is a grumpy 6th grader. He's just miserable, and he doesn't like that all these kids are always singing songs and dancing, and it makes him, he's just miserable. He's a bit of a miser. So he vows to steal the sets, the lights, the props, everything the night before the show goes on. So he like infiltrates their little group and pretends that he's part of the show. And then the night before, he takes everything. And they come in the next day and they're like, show us what's going on. They're like, they've got nothing. So they're trying to find things to put the show on. And they put it on anyway without anything. And he's watching from up above and he's just like, what's happening? Like, I didn't break them. They're still putting on the show. And it's all about, like, sportsmanship, but like being a team player, and like the show must go on. And so he has a change of heart. And Isaac played Colin, who was this Shakespeare obsessed kid. I think I have a picture. I'll put a picture of him in here. Oh my God, he was hysterical. He walked around with a skull all the time, talking to his skull. He was all dressed in like a gray velvet jacket and like purple pants and a ruffly like Shakespeare like collar. And he's spoken Shakespeare in English. And so at the end, when Grunch has this change of heart, he says something about Grunch. He's like, oh, did your heart grow with perchance 3 times in your chest, or 3 sizes in your chest? And it was really, really cute. And he had to sing a pretty challenging little bit of music, these trills, and then had hit this really high G, which he was terrified he wouldn't be able to do, and he did, and everyone loved it, and it was so good. Anyway, that was his show. And then we saw some other theater. I know I'm just rambling here. We saw some other theater. We saw Billy Elliot, which I think I may have talked to you about last time, right before we left, before I signed off. Or maybe I didn't mention it, but anyway, we went and saw this, like, I think the day after my last podcast. And it was so good. Like, so good. This kid who played Billy Elliot is from Vancouver, and they did a cross-Canada search to find this kid. And when he was like 6 or 7 or whatever, he saw Billy Elliot the movie, and he decided, or maybe the musical, and he decided that's what he wanted to play. That was his dream role, and so he did dance and singing and acting and everything he could do to try and get this role, and he got this role, and it was a fantastic show. And then we saw this, Where Do You Begin, which is a brand new Canadian musical written by friends of ours. So Tally and Jake are the, what does it say here? Tally wrote the books and lyrics, and Jake wrote the music and lyrics, and Isaac's had both of them as directors and musical directors, and he's worked with them both. He worked with Jake on Tommy, and Tally on a couple different shows. Grunch, we worked with her on Grunch. So it was really cool to see these two people who are just recent university grads put this show together, and it was powerful. It was all about a friend. So they're all supposed to be high school students, and a friend committed suicide. This kid who everyone thought was happy, and no one understood why this happened. And where do we begin to reconcile all of that? And how do we deal with our own pain and baggage? And there was a girl who, she's not a girl, she's a woman. There's a woman, but she's young, right, like in her early 20s, who did a monologue on eating disorders. And that was her story. And that's my story, right? So I've suffered through all that. So to watch her give this, oh, and how she explained the feelings and the hatred and just all the emotion that she put into it. I was ugly crying in the audience. Like, I just felt it all so deeply, and I was like, oh my God, I've not struggled with, like, I've been recovered for quite a long time, like years and years and years, but it brings it all back, and you feel it, and you're like, oh my God. And she's recently recovered, so it was very, very powerful. And how do these people reconcile their relationship with their friend? Or could they have done more? It was just absolutely beautiful. So look for this, because I think it's going to go places. I don't think this is the end of it. This was it, like, in a workshop. When they first develop a musical, they put it into workshop and it's performed. And then they take it out and they try to get it seen by a larger audience and get it, I don't know what it's called in musical theater. I don't know. It's not like released, but like try to published, you know, I'm trying to think of these words, but anyway, I think it's going to go far. It was very powerful. And then recently we just saw Titanic the Musical at the Grand Theater. So that was our high school project this year. So across the city, high school kids grade 9 to 12 basically audition. And the Grand is our professional theater, and so it's their first taste of what it's like to be a part of a professional show. So they rehearse for a month, Monday to Friday, like kind of like 8 to 5 or 9 to 5 or whatever. And then they mount this huge production. And it was absolutely beautiful. The music's beautiful. The talent in our city is just unbelievable. I'm gonna cry again. Just so good. And we had friends in this, so that was really nice to see. Our one friend, it's her first high school project, and so she was just very much ensemble, and I don't even know if she had any lines, but like she sang, but not solo, but just ensemble, just back and forth across the stage as like a cabin maid kind of thing, back and forth. And it was just an amazing experience for everybody involved. And then we've got friends in it who this is their last year, and to see them have a more significant role, just so incredible. So if you're local to London, make sure that you check out high school projects every September, because they're just phenomenal. You forget that these are high school kids. These are not professional actors, not adults. Oh man. Yeah, so that was kind of our theater, and now we're back into theater now too, because Isaac is rehearsing for 2 shows. He's rehearsing for Snoopy the Musical, in which he plays Pigpen, which is very much him. And he's also rehearsing for a show, James and the Giant Peach, at another youth theater company, in which he's playing James. So he got the lead role. So he's very, very excited about that. He'd been down on himself for a little bit, thinking, I'm not talented, I'm not good enough. And I was like, you are, but you have to believe it, because it becomes this self-fulfilling prophecy when you say, well, why bother trying, because I'm not good enough, I'm not going to get it. And then you don't get it, and you're like, see? I'm like, that's not how that works, right? You have to work really hard, and then if you don't get it, you know you did your best. But if you don't work hard, and you just say, it's not going to happen, and it doesn't happen, you're like, then that's more disappointing, right? If you put everything into it and you don't get it, you know you did your best. But if you don't put everything into it and you don't get it, you're kind of disappointed, because you know you could have done better. So anyway, he's very pleased with himself, as am I. I'm so proud of him. So there's that. And then I am assistant stage managing a show, which is my first time doing that. I've helped backstage lots. But the people who did Tommy, which Isaac was in May, are doing Jesus Christ Superstar, which is one of my favorites. And they asked me if I would assistant stage manage, because I was backstage a lot for Tommy, and they liked that, and got to know everybody really well, and a lot of the same cast, not all the same, but the crew's the same. So anyway, that's exciting. So Isaac has rehearsal 5 times a week. I have rehearsal 3 times a week. It's just, and I'm also trying to prep for another show coming up in a couple weeks, and we have a wedding coming up in a couple weeks. Not ours, we're married, but my brother-in-law and his girlfriend are getting married. So it's just a lot going on. And Isaac's auditioning for another show at the end of October. So we're just busy. But it's good, because that's how we like to live, right? There's no point just hanging around doing nothing, because otherwise get bored. So as much as we're go, we kind of really like it. But yeah, so that's kind of what's new as far as, what else? No, there's more stuff. We went to Ottawa in September. None of us had ever been to Ottawa. So we went to Ottawa. And it was amazing, because my very good friend from high school, one of my dearest friends from high school, found out we were coming. I mentioned it to her. I said, oh, we're going to be in Ottawa. We should meet up in, I haven't seen her in 20 plus years. So we should go for lunch and catch up or whatever. And she says, well, why don't you just stay here? Well, no, that's too much. It's been 20 something years. Maybe you hate me. I don't think that's a good idea. But she insisted. So I didn't want to stay there the whole time, because school was going back the one day, and I didn't want to distract her from getting her kids ready. I know that if it was me and people were here the night that school was going back, we don't do that, but you know what I mean? You got something big in the morning. Isaac wouldn't go to sleep, and her kids would need to go to sleep, and then he'd be bummed that he had to go to sleep early, and so that they would go to sleep. And I thought, you know what? We'll stay Saturday and Sunday, and then Monday was a holiday. So Monday night, we'll go to the hotel, and you can get your kids all sorted and settled and ready. So she's like, I didn't even think about that, and I appreciate that so much. And we ended up still going back on Tuesday night, or maybe we didn't see them Tuesday, but we Monday and Wednesday and stuff, and we had dinner, and we still saw them, just we didn't spend the night. And we had the best time in Ottawa. It's my new favorite city. Oh my god. I came back to London on the train. I'm like, kind of makes London look a little dumpy. There are beautiful parts of London, but the way you come in on the train is not the nicest route, and it doesn't look super lovely. But and I'm sure there are parts of Ottawa like that too, but where we were, and I just loved that it had that like a Toronto feel in the sense that all the different neighborhoods had their own little, like, and maybe once you get into suburbs again, it won't be like that, but where they lived in the glebe, and so of course you just walk like one block over and you've got grocery stores and all the different kind of little shops and stuff. And for us in London, like, it's malls, right? Like a lot of bigger cities, it's just malls. And even she said that, like, a lot of the stores have closed down because they built a big mall and now everyone goes to the mall. And I think it's a problem everywhere, but just all the museums and all the galleries or the National Gallery and all the museums and Parliament. It was amazing. We had the best time. Yeah, it was so amazing. We did all of Parliament, and we did the War Museum and the History Museum across the river, and did a tour of the Royal Mint, and I said National Gallery, and walked out to Rideau Hall and did that. Like, we just had the best time. So if you're ever thinking about going to Ottawa and wonder if it's worth it, it is. It's amazing. It's such a walkable city. We stayed 7-minute walk from Parliament, and just walked up, and it was just amazing. It was just amazing. Isaac would not like to move there, he says. I think the cost of living there is probably more than it is here, but cost of living here is brutal. So I don't know how much worse it could get, but I imagine houses probably start a bit higher, but our prices are going up too, so maybe it'll eventually average out, and it'd be nice to live somewhere different. Anyway, I think that's it. That's kind of me caught up. I probably missed a million things, but that's kind of like the gist of what's been happening this summer. And yeah, so let's just get into some knitting, because whoa, I'm wearing a finished object. This is my Brunswick tee, and it's by Olive Knits, Marie Green. Oh my god, I love this sweater. So last time I showed it to you, it was still a work in progress. I hadn't picked up the stitches for the neck or the sleeves, and I complained about how that wasn't my favorite part, but actually this was really easy, and I love this neckline. Like, at first I wasn't really sure. It felt like it was going to be too big, but it's not. It's just, this is perfect. It's not sitting up here, right, with itchy wool. Sometimes it can, I mean, it's super wash. Actually, this is, it is super wash. This is single ply, but it's still, there's still a little bit of a, you can feel it. That's why I keep itching, because I get itchy. But, oh yeah, no, this is so nice. Anyway, I don't like things sitting really, really high up. And I've worn it a whole bunch, and it's holding it pretty well. It's hard to get a little fluffy on it, but it's still good. Anyway, it was a really fabulous knit. I'll put all the information below afterwards, because it's too much to put it in during the filming. Not during, but you know what I mean, like on my screen, so I'm just going to do it afterwards. And yeah, I loved it. I loved this knit. I think I wanted another one in like a more, so this is pretty, it's fairly neutral-ish, right? It's not crazy bright, but I think I'd like to knit one in another neutral kind of palette. Or I might do something with neutral up here and poppy down below. I don't know, it's so nice. I love it. So I highly recommend this knit. If you're looking for just like a kind of, it is a little bit hard for the summer though, I do find. I couldn't wear it much when it was really warm, because it just, I want to reblock down here and just make it a little bit looser, because it felt like it was a little bit snug on me, and that's just probably because I didn't block those very tight. Or even length. I don't want the arms too much longer, but it just felt like there's like lots of space there, but it's just wool, right? So it gets a little warm. So you had to kind of wait for cooler, warm days, not hot days. I tried to try it on at home county, and it was like almost 40 degrees Celsius. It was so hot. And I would put it on, I would literally start just sweating. I'm like, I feel sick. Like, I need to get this off. This is what it looks like, and now I'm taking it off. But yeah, so I highly recommend this knit. It's fabulous. I guess that's my, oh yeah, and I do have another one. I have some tea first. I'm really rambly. It happens. What's this, you ask? So, last episode, 3 months ago, I showed you a whole bunch of samples that I had knit up for me. Well, not a whole bunch, but there was a few. There was a lot of finished objects, but there was a few samples in there that I had knit. And this is another one of those. So my friend Renee knit this for me. This is Stephen West's Vertices Unite. And can I just tell you how much I love this? It is just spectacular, this knit. I love the colors I chose. My only regret, and this is, you know, there's always something. My only regret is that we went with the small and not the large, because I thought when I read the dimensions that large is going to be humongous, and I'm not a big person, and I thought that maybe it would like overtake my body, like it'd be like, but really it's not big enough. It's okay, it's okay. I wore it all around Ottawa and it was great, but I really wish that it would just, especially with winter coming, like that extra couple of wraps, because the larger version is double this length. So let's see here, I can do this. So here it is from like the screen there, right? And then again, right? So it's basically double that. So this is like, I don't know if I'm explaining it like, there you go. Okay, right? So it's like my arm span basically is what it is, just about, but it's double that for the large. I just thought of a modification I made for this that I should tell you about. It's double, so I thought that maybe it would be too much, but I really think that it wouldn't have been. I think it would have been perfect with the winter coming. You could have like doubled it up or just around the house. So because we did a small, there's still a significant amount of yarn left. So I'm tempted to start another one. The same, just the same. Keep this one as a sample maybe, or wear the other one. But I do love it so much. So I just made this in my sock base, my sole sock, which is 80/20 merino nylon. The colorways, if you're interested, are Wild Child. We changed things up a bit too in how we did it, but Wild Child, Forest City. This is, I think, an ode to Dobby and Dickens. Rustic Autumn, When You Were Mine, and a note to Dobby and Forest City. And it's trimmed with Forest City. So I think we used 6 instead of 5. Is that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, I don't know. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh yeah, Dickens, yeah, 6. Dickens is in here. It's not anywhere else. It's just part of a stripe. So very little of that did we use, but just because we wanted to make it really cohesive, and yeah. Anyway, I just stinking love this so much. So that is a finished object that I absolutely adore. Thank you, Renee, if you're watching. I love it so much. Okay, backtrack real quick to this. So this is quite like what's that called when you're baby doll? It was almost quite baby dollish. And so here, right here, I don't know if you can see it. Let's point to right where it is. It's right here. So right along here, the pattern called for you to basically knit 1, increase 1, knit 1, increase 1 all the way around. And I didn't do that. I did increase, but I think it's like every 5 or 6 stitches I increased. So you get a little bit, you can see where it starts to come out. There's a little bit of increase, so it's loose and not much more fitted, but it doesn't go, because it would have been quite puffy and like loose, and I think I would not have liked that. So I just made that slight modification. Other than that, it's exactly the same, and I love it. Okay, that's all. I just want to go back and let you know that modification. Feel like I'm just hurtling along here at a mile a minute. You know, we haven't been here for 3.5 months. There's lots to say. But I do have a couple whips. This one I've been working on for a while. This is, I don't even know what the front of the back is right this second. Oh, here it is, I see. This is my woolen honey sweater. It's getting a little bit too small for this cord, so I apologize that I can't stretch it out really far and show you. Get the idea? I also think my gauge is a little bit off, but oh well, that's my story of my life. It is so fun to knit. I just dropped a whack load of stitches. And now they're all back on. It's just, oh my gosh, it's so much fun to knit. This color is, this yarn is my Nova base. Do I have one handy? I've got one right here. Excuse me. It is 100% non-superwash organic merino. Fingering weight. This colorway is called Copperhead. It's the colorway that I'm knitting the sweater out of. It's very lovely. I can't wait to finish this. I'm almost done the honeycomb. So you start with, there's honeycombs all the way around the top, like I think 3 rows, and then they start to like, you get like 2 and then a space and 2 and a space and then you have 1 in space and then you've got none. So I'm almost at the place where I'm at 2 in a space. So I gotta finish that too. Maybe there isn't a space where there's 1. I think there is. So I've still got a little ways to go, and then all the body and the sleeves. So this will be knit well into winter or into the fall. But I'm so busy that I don't have a lot of time to sit and knit, and it's not the kind of thing I can really take with me. I can, because once I get it in my head, I'm pretty good. But and it's very intuitive. Like, I love Andrea Mowry's patterns. I don't know if I said that it was her. It's her. Her patterns are so intuitive. I just find that you knit them and you know exactly what you're doing. Like, I love that, because some patterns aren't written as such, right? You have to really pay attention, and maybe it's just how my brain works. I can pick up on those kinds of patterns fairly quickly, whereas some people I know, like, have to like always look. But I don't know, I find that one quite intuitive, and I cannot wait for it to be finished so I can wear it all the time. Isn't it pretty? So the reason I think my gauge is off is because, like, these are pretty loose. The and I know when I've seen other people wear theirs, they're not loose at all. And so once I block it out, they won't be quite so loose. But then the fabric from blocking it, it's gonna get pretty loose. And from what I've seen on other, I've only ever seen one. I actually haven't seen any in person up close. I saw one person at a show recently that had one on, and hers didn't look quite so loose. It looked a bit more dense. So maybe I should have gone down a needle size. I don't know. Right? I usually go up a needle size because I find things so tight. But, I don't know. Ignore me. I don't know. But, yeah, I should have gone down. It's okay at the top. But, like, see what I mean? Like, once you really start to stretch it out, it's hard to hold because it's lost on this needle that's too short. I feel like you're going to really have a loose fabric. But we'll see. Anyway, I don't care. I love it. And it won't be as heavy, which is probably best because I don't like a heavy sweater. I just get too hot. Even though I'm quite small, I tend to find that the heavier knits make me really warm, unless it's like brutally cold, and then I can wear a bulky sweater and be pretty warm. Like last winter, I wore my car bath all the time, and I loved it. I need to make another one of those, because that's a great winter sweater for around the house. Well, for anywhere, but it keeps you really warm. So, Wool and Honey, Andrea Mowry. Knit yourself one of those. They're so lovely. What else do I have? I'm knitting a little random pair of socks. I'm so funny. Like, I have an Oceans pouch. Yes, I just walked away and left you hanging. I have this little Oceans pouch, which is too small. I mean, it's perfectly, but it weighs 1,000,000 pounds because of all my pins on it. But I never have anything in there that I really need when I don't take it with me very often. It's more just like my around the house one. Never used to be, but it's too heavy to take with me places now. So I bought some neat little things to this is more of an acquisition, but I'll just show you now. So I've got like this little tin that's got some things in it, but like I don't have one that's just, I always toss in my knitting bag. Like I need to have 1,600 Notion pouches that are all the same so that each bag can have one in there. Tell me if you have a recommendation for that. Like what do you do? Because I always find I'm out knitting and then I don't have the stuff that I need because it's in another bag or it's on the coffee table or something. And then like look what's in the bottom of this bag. A row counter, it's fine. 2 measuring tapes. I don't need 2 measuring tapes in one bag. That's just silly. So anyway, I don't know, I'm weird. Anyway, I often have sock blanks for sale at my shows, and I don't know if I just lost the stitches there, but I use them as drop cloths when I'm dyeing, and so often I will have this like creamy base with like lots of different blotches of color. And so sometimes I'll over dye them just so they're not all looking exactly the same, because after a while you've got a cream base with a bunch of different blotches of color. They do look a lot similar. So I over dyed this one. Oh my god, you can see it there. So you can see with those darker bits of color underneath. You can't see exactly what they are. I over dyed this one really, 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 really dark. So I ended up keeping it for myself. It's the front side, so you can see a little bit better all the dark bits of color. And anyway, so I decided to knit it up because people will often ask how they knit up. Well, when it's just a cream base and speckles or splotches of color, you'll get a creamy sock with speckles, just specks, like because the dye never penetrates all the way through the sock blank. So you get lots of cream still come through. So then the parts that look like it's a splotchy color actually is more like a speckle when you knit it. They're cool. But these ones, being so dark, I wanted to show people how they knit up. So you can kind of see how you'll still get some white bits in the yarn, but it's still pretty dark. So I just started to knit this sock. Just a vanilla sock. And, oh yeah, there are some stitches dropped off there. I'll just be really careful. And, too close to that light. So you get this little marled effect, which I really like. So anyway, I'm just working on that. That's just sitting in, oh. Well, now I see why it's broke. My needle broke. I wasn't being very careful. Boo. I wondered when I looked down that thing, I saw a needle down there, and I thought, oh, there's like an extra needle down there. Oh no, it's a broken needle. Darn it. Anyway, that's okay. I got lots of needles this size. I just like the wood. I ordered a whole bunch of Zing needles, which I love, but they make my joints ache. So metal I can't really use. I need to use either like a resin or a or wood. I can't use the metal. So I have a whole set of Zing DPNs that I can't really use. It's so sad. But anyway, yeah, so that's kind of how they knit up. So I'm just working on that little sock. Put back in here with my 2 measuring tapes. Take those out. And that's just in my sweet little Emerald Fibers bag. My Hip Cat, which I love. A couple pins on there too. There's pins everywhere. And then my most recent whip is in my beautiful bag by Matter Root, sorry, that I got at Rhinebeck last year. Love this so much. It's a fun little, just carry it like that. It's so great. Anyway, I use that a lot. And in here, I am doing a test knit for Garlene of the Kitchen Sink Shop. So she's about to release this hat pattern called For Andy. It's for her husband. And it's a gorgeous combination of cables and lace, which I really like. Oh, I know where it is. I'm thinking out loud. Can you see that? It's so pretty. I'm just finishing off the last of the repeats before I get to the decreases. Although I think I'm going to make it a slouch for myself. I thought about giving it to my husband since Gerlene's giving hers to her husband, and my husband has a hat, but he might want a new one. And this one is my new base, which I'll show you in a minute, which is a merino cashmere silk, and it's so nice. So I'll see how I feel when I get to the end of this. So I'm on the last 2 repeats, and then it goes to the crown decreases. But if you do a slouch, then it calls for like a couple more repeats, I think. So we'll see. Anyway, it's beautiful. And I love Garlene's patterns because, again, very, very intuitive. All her patterns are really intuitive. I did a test knit for her socks, and they were super intuitive. And I just love that because then you can get to the row, see what row you're at, and you just can go. Or you can, if you know the 4 round repeat, then you know what comes next, right? Because it reads really well that way. So this is beautiful and so soft, as you can imagine, with merino and cashmere and silk. And I'll tell you more about that base in a minute. So I'm working on that. That'll be done this week. It took me a while to get started because of this pinched nerve in my back. But now that it's like I can knit for a bit longer, I'm knitting lying down, or I'm spending a few minutes sitting and getting some knitting done. So trying to, know where that came from. I'm trying to get some knitting done, even though it's painful. What else is going on here? Yeah, so that's basically what I've been working on. I have a million other sweaters lined up, but I want to get through my next show first and get all the theater stuff done. So Isaac's Snoopy show finishes October 27th, and then that's not right. Oh, it is. Sorry. Mine, Jesus Christ Superstar, finishes the 19th. We move into the big theater on Sunday, and then we're there basically until the 19th. And then we close on the 19th, which is the day of my big show. So I have to miss it. I'll be there. I'll tell you more about this in a minute. Monday we have a down day, and then Isaac's show goes into tech on Monday. So Monday, Tuesday, all the way through to the Sunday, we'll be at the theater again for him, and then we're done theater. Well, not really, but we're done that intense bit of theater for a little bit, and then he just has James and Giant Peach. But then he's auditioning for another show, so we'll see if he gets that. But then I can just sit, maybe, hopefully, and relax and work on some of these sweaters that I really want to start, because I have a lot I want to do, and I want to do a big, cozy worsted weight shawl for winter, and there's just a million things I want to do, but too busy to sit and knit. And pain. I'm in pain, so it's hard to sit and knit, right? Anyway, some acquisitions that I purchased. So here's the one little thing I was telling you about. Oh my goodness, it's our kitty cat. It's little Mama. Looks just like her. So this is just like a little slide off tin, which I love because you can just toss this in your bag with all your little things. It's another row counter. I got that at Spun Fiber Arts last year. And I've got just a million loose little light bulb stitches that I love. I don't really have anything organized in there, just a million little things. But I love the, let me take that out. I just love the, I had to have that because it looked just like my cat. So I got that when I was there, and I got this awesome little pin, a Venn diagram of me. And it says, the Venn diagram is cats, knitting, and feminism. And then the intersect in the center, it says me. I probably won't focus, because you know, but it's very cute. It's still on the thing. I haven't even put it on anything yet. And then I did buy yarn while I was there, which was bad of me. But again, because I don't usually make sweaters out of other people's yarns so much, but I want to do that. I've got a few sweater quantities of other yarn that I really want to make sweaters out of, so I'm going to work on that. So I bought these because at Yarns Untangled they had a gorgeous Shifty by Andrea Mowry on display. And I tried it on, and it was the perfect fit. Like, I just wanted to buy that one and take it home. It was perfect. Didn't have those colors left, and it was colors I wouldn't normally have been drawn to, even though I have a sweater in that color, which is my favorite. But I found these ones instead. So let's see how this would go. I think this would be the main color. this color, shifting into, well, I don't know how I'll shift it, but anyway, this reddy, rusty color, and then this blue with a bit of yellow and green, and then the cream. And so the yarn is Knitting Fever Painted Desert. A lot cheaper than Spin Cycle, but perfect for that project. You know, and then the thing with Spin Cycle is you've got import fees and exchange rates because it's American, and this is, well, it's made in China. Oh, it's Australian wool, made in China. That was great. I didn't notice that when I bought it. But still, I think that the price point on this is a lot better than, say, Spin Cycle for buying a sweater quantity. The difference being, obviously, Spin Cycle is all hand spun and dyed and all that stuff. Where this is made in China. It's probably mass produced, which, now that I know that, I'm a little bit, oh, but I still, it's done, it's done. I love it. And I think that'll be really, really pretty. What you think? Can't wait. So I want to work on that this winter. Definitely want to work on that. Is one sweater, and then another sweater. Well, I'm not sure if I'm going to do a sweater or not, but I did a beautiful trade at Berry Fibre Spirit with the so lovely Jen of Hipknitized Fibre Co. She was there. It was her first show, and so she had set up and she'd gone home, and it was really cute because her son was with her, and I think her son's like a year or two younger than mine, but Isaac's small, so he doesn't look like he's 13. He looks like he could be 11, and I think that's what her son is, or 11 going on 12. He may be 12. Anyway, her son was walking around and saw Isaac and kind of smiled, whatever, and then Isaac smiled and waved, and I looked at him, I'm like, do you know him? Because I don't know, my kid knows everybody. Everywhere we go, he knows somebody. Even though we're like 4 hours from home, I was like, maybe he knows who that is. And he's like, no, he just smiled and waved. And I said, oh. I said, well, he's probably here with his mom sitting up. He's probably bored like you. Why don't you go say hi? So he tried to find him. He walked around. He's like, I can't find him. I'm like, he's right over there. He's like, yeah, he's helping his mom now. I said, that's okay. You go over and say hi. He's like, oh, I don't know. So he didn't. And then when I talked to Jen the next day, she's like, oh, yeah, he was bored. He only helped me for like 2 seconds. I'm like, oh, well, that's all right. So anyway, I spotted this after she left. I went and scoped out her booth. Like, tell me that isn't the most beautiful thing. Now, here's the thing about me is I do not buy a lot of yarn. I don't feel the need to purchase. I trade from time to time, but to purchase yarn because I'm a dyer and I dye a lot of what I like, and unless it's something very different than what I do, right? So I've done trades with Shireen from Blue Brick because I don't do ombres or gradients at all, and hers are fabulous, and she's just the loveliest person in the world. Her and I do trades, and I've done trades with like some self-striping stuff, but like just hand-dyed yarn, not typically. But when I saw this, I was like, well, that needs to be mine. And I don't even know why, because I don't really necessarily think that's my color. But I do think a cardigan out of this would be amazing. So, and then so she came and decided what she wanted, and then we decided how we were gonna make it even or fair. I think I got a better deal than she did, but she refused to let me give her anything else, and I was like, I think I need to give you one more. She's like, no. So anyway, that was all fine. So I grabbed this one too, which is beautiful and a little similar to my tea season, but pinkier. My tea season's more brown, and this is just so lovely. And I thought it would go really well with this. It's got the same kind of colors in there. Oh, so this is why. Oh my God, this whole bunch of yarn. And I don't even know what I'm going to make, but I feel like this might need to be a cardigan or something. And this, I don't know. So this is her, to say on here, her rugged sock. This is Woodsy, and this is Wilted Rose Petal. Stunning. Stunning. Check her out. Her yarn's beautiful. She also just did a release of a sock kit that I ordered. Again, don't order people's yarn, but I ordered hers because my son will love it, and I'll have to show that probably in the new year because it's Christmas present. But if you follow her on Instagram and you saw the new sock kit she just released, then you'll know what it is. And my son's obsessed with that, so I'll make him socks from it. Anyway, this was an awesome acquisition, and I love it so much. So I got that. And what else did I get? I got to meet the lovely big Blue Moma. Oh my god, her baskets and her bracelets and all that amazing stuff are so nice. I got this beautiful teal. She is the loveliest person ever. So she came last year, and she came from, I think she'd gone to Twist, and then on the way back she stopped and did our show in Barrie. And she was back this year. And we had a great chat about, it's a little big. I think I had the smaller one and it felt too tight, so I went for the bigger one. But I think it's stretched, and now it's big. That's okay. I love it. I love that color. We talked about business and like being an entrepreneur and being creative and just a whole bunch of things, and like living your life and passion and just all these different things. And it was just a really, really inspiring conversation. So I felt really, really fortunate to meet her and have that connection. Sometimes, you know, you're so busy you don't get to have those connections, and she happened to be walking around and came to my booth, and I'd already been to her booth and picked this out, but sorry, this is stuck. And she said, well, just take it back to your booth and pay me later. And I was like, are you sure? Like, you're just meeting me for the first time. And yeah, she came back by, and then she was walking by. I'm like, wait, I owe you money. She's like, oh yeah, you do. Anyway, her stuff's so lovely. And it was nice to get it without having to pay shipping, because she was right there. So she's fabulous. And then I also got this. So this is why I never walk around from my booth. I always joke with people, and they're like, you never leave your booth. I'm like, because I spend money if I leave my booth, because there's beautiful things out there. I don't want to buy them. Because then I go home with no money. What? I know. Merry Christmas. So Wool for You, EWE, was right beside me. And as she was setting up, she had this hanging. And I was like, I want one of those. Like, I wanted a wreath like this for a while. I do think it would be lovely in just creams and whites, but I love the very obviously Christmas version. And so she's like, well, you can have it. Like, I'll just put it aside for you right now. I'll just put sold on it. I was like, because it was the only one she had, so I bought that. And I loved it. So I'll just hang that somewhere for Christmas. It's just perfect. I'll hang it over there on that wall. Ah! Anyway, so I got that. And that was all I bought, I think, at Barrie. And then at KW, Kitchen Waterloo, I didn't buy any yarn, I don't think. I bought some glorious honeycomb honey from Gaynor Homestead, which is amazing. We're still eating. And I bought this fabulous blanket from, oh, isn't that beautiful? I bought that. I don't know why the name is escaping me, because my brain is like fried. I know, from Laura anyway. Give me a sec, it'll come to me. I don't know why it's not coming to me. Something, oh my god, Oak Fibre Farm, but I can't think of what the first part is, and I don't know why. Now I feel really, really silly. But I'll put it down below. I know Laura, and I don't know why. I can't think of, oh, Twin Oaks. I know, it was not coming to me. I'm like, why is that? Twin Oaks Fibre Farm. And she raises all these beautiful sheep and does amazing things with them, and has her own yarn, and it's amazing. So I really want to support her and get one of those blankets, because I love a good wool blanket. So it just sits on the back of our couch, and it's nice when it gets cold and you pull it on yourself. Okay, so I think that's all my acquisitions, except for these little pins, which I'm not going to bother showing right now. Well, maybe I will. I just got this in the mail. You Are a Drop of Wonderful, from Allie of the Drops of Wonderful podcast. I got one for me, one for Isaac, because Isaac loves her. Every time he hears her voice, he's like, is that Drops of Wonderful? I'm like, yes. So I got him a pin too, and he was very happy with that. And then from Shelly Can, I got my Harry Potter Deathly Hallows yarn pin. Oh, that color's lovely. And then I got also her her uterus project bag pin, which I love. And that's it, I think. But that's not all for today, because I still have a few things to talk about. I don't think I wrote them down though, because that's all right. We have some winners, people, for the knit along. I've been really bad. I'm so sorry. I'm not quite sure what happened. So in my head, for the knit along, I'd already updated for the third quarter, but apparently I didn't. So I kept remembering my friend Nadine, who won the first quarter, and I thought, oh, I've updated for the second quarter. So in my head, she won the second quarter. But even though I knew that wasn't right because I hadn't podcasted after the second quarter. But then I told myself that I told her that she'd won, I just hadn't announced it on here. But really, I didn't set up this third quarter at all. So that was all my fault. So we're going to do both today. And I'm really sorry if that dissuaded you from entering because there wasn't a third quarter thread. I'm so glad that a few of you, really only a few of you, entered for the third quarter because it obviously made it easier for you to win. But I'm glad that you weren't dissuaded and just added it on there because I basically took everything from April to June, and that will be second quarter, and the few that came after June 30th will be the third quarter. And the fourth quarter is already up, and you can go and start entering all your stuff there. So if you waited, you can still enter it. If you just didn't enter anything because you were afraid that I'd stopped it, no, I just kind of stink when it comes to stuff like that. So I have 2 prizes to give away. Second quarter, for the knit along, drawer of sweaters if you're new. The knit along we did all last year and all this year. Each quarter there is going to be a thread in my Ravelry group, which is Loving Path, and you can enter a sweater. So this is all about encouraging you to knit sweaters for yourselves to grow your wardrobe. No children's size sweaters, please, just adult size sweaters. They can be short sleeve like this, or they can be full size, they can be cardigans. But yeah, sweaters. And so the first winner is going to win this. This is my worsted base. I figure as we're coming into cooler weather, I may have done something different for the second one I had done it at the end of June, but because now it's the end of September, it's October. I decided, it's October 2nd today. 2nd? 3rd? 2nd. I decided just to go with worsted weight. If for some reason you are greatly opposed to the worsted weight, maybe you can let me know. But really, I think this is, because I do carry both of these in a fingering weight. So if you'd prefer that, I don't have a problem with that really. But anyway, here you go. Midnight and Spirited. So Spirited is this beautiful spicy red kind of color. I don't know what it looks like on your screen, but it's like yeah, it's like a hot peppery kind of corally pinky red, and it's got dark speckles, dark brown, blacky kind of speckles. It's called Spirited. It's called Midnight. Isaac picked these for you. He thought they were lovely together. I agree. They'd be a fabulous like colorwork cowl or mittens. You want colorwork mittens, or it wouldn't be a very big shawl because there's 220, but 420 yards. So you could get like something just for under your coat, or when I say cowl, anyway, hat, lots of things. So those are going to, are you ready? Dun, 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 dun. Katharina from Berlin, Germany. You've been entering for a long time, so I'm so glad you've won something. Go check out, she was number 7 in the thread, and she did a jelly roll sweater, and the colors are not too dissimilar from this. So I feel like you'll be okay with these colors, that you'll be happy enough with them. So that was really exciting. Your sweater's beautiful. I'm so thrilled that you entered and that you finally won. That's amazing. So contact me with all your information, and I will get these out to you with a few other little things I'll toss in as well. Yay, congrats. Okay, and so that's for the second quarter. For the third quarter, there was like, I think only 3 of you who entered. And I didn't notice, but there could have been more than one entry from one person. So it may have just been like maybe all 3 were from one person, in which case you're the winner. But this is what that person's getting. Again, Isaac picked these. So Midnight again he picked, and Curtain Call. Love these. These are going to Peggy McC on Instagram, or Peg McC on Instagram, for her Novelli tee, which again were also in so she was number 24, also in very similar colors. So I think you will also not mind this put together. So congrats, Peggy. Again, you've been entering so much. You've sort of like, you've got nothing else to do with your time. I'm very impressed. So I'm so thrilled that these are going to come to you. Here's another little thing. If for some reason you have an idea in mind for these colors but you don't have enough, let me know before I ship them out, because I can always, like, we can arrange payment for extras if that's what you want, because I happen to really love these three together. But you know, you might want like 2 of those and 1 of those, or you might want like, I don't know, like whatever. So, or something else. Not everything's on my site, and it won't be until after the end of October. So if you want to wait, that's fine. There's no rush. I'm just putting it out there because I know 2 skeins of worsted, unless you're just going to do a cowl or whatever. But if you wanted to add to it, just let me know and we'll work that out. Otherwise, send me your information and I will ship these out ASAP. So congrats to Katarina and Peggy. 1 going to Germany, 1 going to Hillsborough, North Carolina. So thrilled. Thank you guys for entering. Thank you all for continuing to put up with my absenteeism when I just drop off the face of the map and don't put up chat like threads and things like that. I just feel like when I went on there yesterday and noticed that, I was like, I didn't put up a thread. I was sure I had done that. So I feel a little bit naughty. But there you go. We're making it all right by just making sure that 4th quarter's up there and get them in for fourth quarter. So I'm going to try and do something a little bit bigger for 4th quarter because it's the end of the year, and why not? Okay, what else? Okay, so that's really it, I think, for the most part. I will be at the Kitchener, no I won't, that was 2 weeks ago. I'll be at the Woodstock Fleece and Fibre Festival on October 19th. I will only be there for the morning because it's the day that Jesus Christ Superstar closes, and I did not apply to Woodstock this year, but I was asked if I would be interested in a space, and I was very interested in a space. So I took them up on it knowing that I would have to finagle some stuff. So I will be there in the morning, and then I need to leave for my call time because we have a show at 2 and a show at 8. I will have to be back at the theater for 1 o'clock. And so come and see me before noon if you want to see me. In the afternoon, my friends Kate and Monica will be there manning the booth. So there'll still be lots of yarn. I just personally won't be there. So don't worry about it if you can't get there in the morning. But if you wanted to come by and see me personally, because you told me you would, because there's people who said they'd come by and say hi, I just wanted you to know that I wouldn't be there in the afternoon, just till about noon. And that's it. And then I'm done for shows for the year. I will be doing a big shop update after October 19th, probably looking, probably the beginning of November, because I'll have to get through all that theater the rest of the month. And then I'm going to do a big update. So everything that's not in the shop right now, that's sitting in bins because I've been taking it to shows, will be in the update, which will be really exciting. What else? I don't know what else I have to say. I feel like there's probably more. That's it, I think. Really, I think that's it. Oh, you know what? Real quick, I want to show you my new base. That's what I want to show you. So I have this new base, which is merino, cashmere, and silk. So 75, 15, 10, superwash merino, cashmere, and silk. 280 yards. It's a DK. It's a little bit of heaven. So the hat that I showed you earlier is knit in this colorway, which is called Lost in Space. So pretty. And I've got a whole bunch of colorways in it, but I'm just going to show you these. So I've got the Loving Path, which is my signature colorway. I have Old Romance, which is just this beautiful pink. It's not pink. What color is that? purpley pink. Vestral turned out so beautiful on this base. And I showed you this one, which is Lost in Space, and this brand new colorway called Vintage Teacup. Just this awesome mint green with pinky brown speckles. And yes, everyone says it looks like mint chip ice cream. It does, but I refused to call it that, even though Isaac's like, it's like mint chip ice cream. I know. These three together are doing something for me. I really like those together. So there are others as well. They'll all be in the shop on the update, but I just want to show you the base. It's so nice. And then I'm going to do a little bit of a giveaway on Instagram. So you might want to head over there and check that out. I haven't posted it yet, but because it's fall and, you know, we're all kind of getting into more knits, I'm not going to give away anything too heavy because you need a lot more, like to give away just one skein of worsted. You can make a hat or something, but I decided to give away a sock skein. This beautiful colorway, which is a variation of Dickens, and that's another one that's got a bit more dark. I just love it. So I'm gonna give away one of these with a mini cream for heels and toes. I always love cream with some of these darker colors, but maybe I'll have some other options there too. I just think cream would be the best fit. So head on over to Instagram and take a look at that. It'll be up by the time you get there, but it's not up yet. But so you're the first person to see this. Aren't these pretty? Oh, I love these. And they're very kind of autumny and fall-y, right? Like just greens and browns, some oranges and creams. To me, it just screams fall. Okay, so I think that's it. Just gonna leave you off with all that. Woo. My husband just sent me a text and my screen went all weird, so I don't know if you saw that or not. Thanks for being here. Thanks for listening to me ramble and try to catch you all up on what's been going on. I'm trying to stop myself from saying, I'll try to be here sooner, but I will. I am always gonna try and be here sooner than 3.5 months, but I think once show season's done, summer's just so hard. And once show season's done and theater is done, I think by the beginning of November, middle of November, we should be able to be back with some more content. I don't really have a lot of content except for showing you things that I bought and some updates. So once I have like sweaters done, then I feel like I've got content. But yeah, thanks for tuning in. If you want to follow me on Instagram or any of those places, you can do so. I will leave all the information at the end. I don't even know what I usually say at the end of a podcast because it's been so long. But I will leave all my information at the end and you can find me there. And in the meantime, I hope that you are having a beautiful fall and that whatever you are making and knitting or designing or thinking about creating is bringing you lots of happiness and joy. And I hope to see you again really soon. Take care. Happy knitting. Bye.